Assalamu alaikum dear students, and today I am going to talk about functions in C++. So I'm in Qt Creator, select non-Qt project, then C++ application, and let's call it functions in CPP. Click next couple of times and then finally click finish, and here we are. So let me remove the command line arguments, we don't need them, and remove this statement as well. So a function is a block of code that you can execute whenever you need. So for example, if you want to add two numbers together and you want to add them and display the result, you can declare a function for that. So a function is a block of code and you declare a function, and a function cannot be defined inside a function, inside another function. So main is also a function. I'm going to declare a function just above the main function right here, and you have to say, for example, the function has three important things. The first is return type. What is the return type? Then the name of the function, then the pair of parentheses, and then the body of the function. So this is the function syntax. So return type means what this function returns. So for example, if I say int, that means this function is going to return an integer value. And name should be meaningful. Let's say give it a name main. And in the parentheses, we can say int a, comma, int b. We declare two variables. They are called parameters of the function. So that means, like in mathematics, a function takes some arguments, some input, and it produces some output. So this function takes two integers. I have called it a or b. You can call it whatever you want. They're just variables. And then inside the body of the function, we are going to create another variable on result, and we will add the value of a and b, and then we'll return that result. So this return keyword is very important. If the function return type is int, you must return an integer value, and it is an integer value because you see the result is of type int, and a and b, the values of a and b will be added and then will be assigned to this result, and we will return result. So you type return in small letters and then result. Now we have defined this function, but we have not used this function in our program. So let me, in main function, let me create two variables, input 1, and it has the value 100, and then input 2, and it has the value 200. And now I want to use this function. So to use a function, you just type the name of the function. So let's say add, and then you pass two integer values. So I'm going to pass the variables which stores the values 100. So I'm going to say input 1, and then you put a comma, and then input 2, and then semicolon. So this means this is called calling a function, or sometimes we call it invoking a function. That the function is already defined, and all you are doing here is calling that function, and that function needs two integer values. We are passing two integer values. These are variables, but because they are integers, they are storing integer values, you can pass the names of the variables also. And this function, what does the input? The first variable is input. This value will be copied into this a parameter, and input 2 will be copied into this b parameter. So a and b has copies of the input 1 and input 2, and those values will be added together in the body of the function, and the result will be stored in the result, and then the return statement says return this result. So the result will be returned where the function is called. So there we call a function, and the result will be right here, will be returned here. So we can then store that result in some variables. So add returns the addition of input 1 and input 2. We store them in res, and then we display the result. So cout res, which is storing the result. And now let's save this program and run this program to see the output. So you can see 300. So let me recap what we just did. We have created a function. The return type is int. Because if the function returns something, you have to specify what type of value does it return. Then you give a name of the function. So we have given a name add, and the function may take arguments. We call them arguments. When you call the function here, these values are called arguments, but when you define the function here, they are called parameters. So don't get confused about arguments and parameters. Arguments, they are called arguments when you call the function, and when you define the function, they are called parameters. And there may be a function which does not take any argument. For example, if you want to display a welcome message, so we can say void message. It doesn't take anything, and it just simply display welcome to C++ and L, and let me change the e to small e. So void means that this function does not return anything, and there is no return statement like retu or n. There is no return statement. So if the function does not return, the return type of the function should be typed as void void, then the name of the function, and then the function simply does something and it does not return any value. So if I want to call this function, I can do it by just typing the name of the function, which is message. And remember, I didn't tell you, but remember that when you call the function, you have to put the parentheses and then the semicolon. So now if I compile this program and run it, you will see the output of the first function, which is 300, and then the output of the second function message that I called at the end, and it says welcome to C++. So when the function is called, the code actually jumps from here to wherever the function is defined right here, and the compiler will execute the body of this function, and this body contains only one statement, so cout will be executed, and after this the function is over, and you display the message right here. So if you have any problem, kindly let me know. I haven't received any question except for one student who said that I don't understand the syntax of the for loop. I'm going to explain that in the next demo. But keep in mind that these are the lectures. You should treat them as formally as possible. Thanks for watching. See you next time.